Good evening. Here we are again. Loving to see you all appearing one by one. Um, I'll wait a little bit before I go into what I want to talk about tonight and share and hear what you have to say about the topic. So I'm just going to look and see. I've already said heart, 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 heart to many of you. So, hi, Canon. She's just arrived. Hi there. And Yvonne, hello. Yeah. The group is gathering. I'm looking forward to my chat with you, Yvonne, on Friday. I have a few things I really want to share with you. And the time will pass, I'm sure, before Friday. It's been an interesting week. And we've been preparing for Matthew to come back to England for a while. And we're having a house swap. Alice is coming to me for 10 days while Matthew is in her house. And I'm letting him use my car. So Alice and I are here in my house for 10 days. And thank goodness for Zoom and things like that. But, it's really exciting that he's just a phone call away. Mind you, it's always been a phone call away, but it's different when they're just a few miles away. Hi, Beta. Yes? Where are you from? I'm sure I've asked you before, but tell me again. Isabel saying hi too. Okay. What I want to talk about is, I don't know about you, but I was very moved by a speech that President Biden gave in honor for the 500,000 and I believe 71 people that have passed over. And they put candles all up the stairs in the front of the White House and had a moment of silence, and then a band played Amazing Grace, which is a song from that day on has been over and over playing in my mind. But really, what I found inspirational was how he encouraged us to honor the losses of people we have loved, sometimes being there, sometimes not being there, and carrying forth the love and the memories of those people. I found that really special. And we've talked about quite often about bringing heaven to earth and how you achieve that. It's always there in you. And what I'm discovering is this whole thing of remembering things. Because if you went into a trauma, your psyche's... Oh my goodness, sorry. Hang on a minute. That's a surprise. The process of these matters is that we suppress it. It splinters off and gets put over in a folder. And the more that you seek to open up your creativity or to live the art of living from a more spiritual, conscious point of view, it'll be important for you to look at those memories so that you don't bottle it up and you're free of it. Life will bring those things to us to deal with. And I have to say, this week I had a few memories being dislodged from within. But I think I'm strong enough now. I wasn't then. It was too painful, the emotion of it. And I'm really glad that it's starting to come and I can lie there and let it wash away. And I've started this Color of Thought lives, which color has helped me to focus on the vibration of a flower of nature. And tonight I'll show you one of them. I think a lot of you have already been with me on those, but it's good to see it again, at least part of it. So one of the stories that I have the courage to share with you is about when I was 4, 5. We lived in Philadelphia, and my mother wasn't too happy. And one day when I was playing out in the street, which is what we did in those days, in fact, when it's hot in the summer, the fire department would come along and turn on the water hydrants, and we'd play in the water in these streets. And the doors of the houses were open and the kids played in and out. I think England was a bit like that at some point. And I had my toys out there, and Mom came out and said, my name was actually Charlie Ann at home, and she was saying, "Charlie, get in here. I need you to bring your toys in." So I get inside, my girlfriend was sort of, "What's happening? You know, we normally play in the afternoon together." Mom went, "Shh, we're going to go see Aunt Dot in Connecticut. Don't tell your girlfriend, please." So the next thing you know, myself and my younger sister is hobbling down the road, and we got to the train station, and we were on the train. Well, I'm afraid, as little kids do, my little friend was going, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go see my aunt." Of course, for some reason, my dad came home early that day and asked my friend, "Do you know where they've gone?" "Yes, they're going to see their aunt." The next thing I know, I was sitting on the train in the seat next to the window, and my mom was next to me near the aisle with Donna, my little sister, was sitting on her lap when the train stopped at one station. My father suddenly is coming on the station and grabbing Donna and grabbing my arm, dragging me across my mother. And my mother's going, "Stop, stop, leave them alone." And everyone on the train was watching this drama going on. But my father's strength won, and he took us off and then hid us in New Jersey in the countryside with his parents, who I grew to love, Nana and Papa. He was a character. But after 2 years, I had forgotten that I had had a mother. And it was such a trauma. I think I'm still sort of working through that in some way. There's so many cycles to these things. So, my mother found us with the help of a private investigator. And the next thing you know, we're at the court big building, felt really tiny, and wound up going with her. So then I had to go through the trauma of my father, losing my father, who I'd grown very attached to at the time. And I was not a happy budgie. But my grandmother was such an amazing person. And I think the reason why I bake apple pies and have a pantry and do outrageous Christmases and crochet, pick blueberries, eat cornflakes is because of her. Anyway, let me see what you all are saying. Hang on. Down. Yes, Isabel, I'll be glad that Matt's nearby. Hi, Lori. Hi, Deborah. And John, good evening. Verpy. Isn't it also good that Matt's live streams will be earlier while he's in England? For us Europeans, it will be a bit easier to stay awake. You're amazing, Trojan, Verpy. I can't make those Tuesdays, so yes, he has to decide what time it's all going to be. That's for sure. Isabel. Well, you know, I'm learning that it's important to not lock them away. I developed a pattern, which I hope I'm over, that if something was just too traumatic, the memory would just disappear. And there have been moments when maybe through having some sort of meditative therapy or something, they suddenly come back. And the reason why I'm talking about this is really because it's important for us to see these things. Otherwise, they fester inside. And that's what President Biden's reminded me about, that part of our spiritual process. But you know, it is really important. I think the reason why I can look at them is because I know there's so much beauty and joy innate in every one of us that I can look at those things and know that it's not a reality anymore. It's the way I responded at the time, and the more that I look at them and see that and are free from them, I have more space for all the love and beauty and all the creativity and joy that one can have in their life. I become a conductor instead of a victim of what shocks I had put away secretively. Hi, Andy. Thank you for coming. When I first came to England with David, English people are really different than Americans. At least this American. I mean, the way they laugh, the way they tell stories. It was quite a learning curve, I have to say. Plus, I was the only lady. I was the chief cook and bottle washer, and his friends would all be sitting in the living room watching the football or whatever it was, listening to music at the same time. Dave would be sitting in the rocking chair, twiddling on his guitar. They were all multitasking, and it was really important for them to have their tea. I had to learn how to make proper English tea. But you know, when I when my mother remarried to a Coast Guard medic, we traveled every year, pretty much. New school every year. I didn't have time to know people for very long apart from my family. And after being in England, after the first year, it was like, oh my God, that person is like that. I never saw certain aspects of human beings since being in England. But you know what? I cherish every color of the human being in all my friends. And my friends are really deep. They're not butterflies, though I love butterflies. I know, Verby, I always watch Matthew's Tuesdays on Wednesday morning. Richard, we don't know because of COVID what's going to happen. I just feel his heart is closer. And he certainly has helped me with doing streaming, and I'm very grateful for that. It's getting more creative. Yeah. Juliet, thank you for bringing up the fact that that story, my child, well, there are a lot of stories in my book, and it's like I take you on the journey, which you've often commented about. And I'm sharing it with you today, all of you, because I hope that you will share yours, even if it's only with yourself, and know that there's a place in you of such peace and love. You can let go of all this stuff because the past doesn't need to influence in a negative way your ability to live and to love and to dance and smile. Being human is quite a wonderful adventure. I'm going to see what you're saying. Verby's saying, I agree with Erica that it's very important to talk about even the unpleasant things. It makes dealing with the not so good memories easier when we share them. And we also have to realize that the reason why I'm sharing it is to release and not dwell on it anymore. It's a fine balance of sharing, looking. And you know, I've found quite often there might be some accident, like carrying up a bucket of clay and twinging my back, having to lie down in the bed for weeks in such pain. But that pain unlocked a door of a pain so similar of something that I had put away. So I've started to take them as opportunities to unlock that door because I want to have the freedom of my heart and of my life. I don't want to exist with hidden pains. They mature you in a way, but I don't want to hang on to them. I want to create memories of such joy and happiness. And there's a truth about the wisdom of being a human being that touches the greatness of what we are, that requires us to let go and not put emphasis on these things. Most of us don't even realize what's down there. Isabel says, thank you for sharing this story. It'll help me deal with what my son is going through right now. John is from Goole in East Yorkshire. I've always wanted to go to East Yorkshire. Do you know, I think this COVID, when it comes, I'm going to break out. I'm going to go driving. Go see more of the world. But I have an inner world right now. Hi, Linda from Sweden. Thank you for coming. Kyle, Yorkshire tea, I hope. Sorry. David and his friends were PG Tips. And my meditation teacher, Irina Tweedy, she always called it British Rail. All right, go have some British Rail now. And then when David and I went to Ceylon, we went to an English, not an English, but a tea plantation. And what I didn't realize, because Americans like weak tea, and I was learning that the British like strong tea, that actually the British companies come and buy the leaves of the plants, and the Americans buy the stems and the little branches without the leaves. Humanity is just so amazing. Erica says, I'm glad that mental health isn't as taboo of a subject as it has been in the past. Anxiety and depression, etc., can feel so isolating. It's the whole no one will ever understand. It's so much more comforting to know that I'm not so alone. Yes. To shift being alone to the concept of all one. There was a time that when I was initiated in Tibetan Buddhism, when we were in California and the Floyd were creating the wall, finishing the album and then the concerts. That was quite a production. I met with a Tibetan Lama who said that when I meditate, don't think that you're the only one doing it and you go into this feeling space of stillness and calm, and remember that you're meditating with, they called the Sangha. So you're never alone, because on the psychic level, there's some really beautiful things to touch and know that you're not alone. In fact, it has come that humanity's in a different cycle. There was a time that you needed to be with a group when you meditated. Now it's important to, when you meditate, to touch the invisible group. And that's what I do, so that I know that there's, I'm not alone. And I think that some of COVID that's what its highest purpose is. For us to find that place of who we are inside, no matter what is going on around us. I had the grace to meet Dr. Werner Engel, top Jungian psychologist that worked with Jung, He was president of the Jungian Society in New York City. And he said that during the war, and he was Jewish, and he had to hide, that the thing that he always looked for was a flower. If they were having to run through a field to get across the mountains as a young boy and then a growing teenager, he always looked for a flower. And then when the time came and he met Carl Jung, he learned how to be the one, even if you were alone on the physical plane. Murphy says that she suffers from anxiety and depression a lot during the years since I was bullied in school. Much more not so nice stuff has happened to me too during the years, but nowadays I can talk about everything and it helps. That's beautiful, Verpy. I want you to start talking about the beauty of life too. So the more you do that in the color of thoughts lives that I'm doing, it will start to shift a lot of the memories of the hurt. Hi, Doreen. So happy you could be here. She says she loves my color meditation yesterday. Can't wait for Friday. Love and big virtual hugs to you, Matthew, and the family, all here. Yeah, you've watched us go through a lot of experiences together, sharing life. She's one of my best friends through thick and thin. And Richard says he loves PG tips and English breakfast tea. John says that we can pop in for a brew of tea if you get to the East Yorkshire. Well, you never know what's going to happen in the future. Juliet says, talking is massively important. You're so right. I'm the one in my family to wear my heart on my sleeve and talk things out. My mom laughs, says she's not quite sure where I get it from. She's quintessentially English. I'm glad I can talk about that. Hang on, Seymour. Why didn't they just let you finish? Things, though. Also, I type as I talk. Always long messages. Well, you're such a pocket of wonderful vitality, Juliet. I'm so happy to know you. John Chappell said, oh my goodness, 2 years ago he attempted suicide. Got the treatment I needed, and now at 57 I got engaged to Janine Elliker, and I have not self-harmed in these years. John, what do you think that you learned from that? I know many times, and particularly where, hope Matthew doesn't mind me sharing this, but people know that he had cancer. And he had said at one point, because he chose to have chemo, he hoped that the chemo would kill the cancer before it killed him. But what's come as a result of it is how much he values living. He's just burst out in creativity. It's really incredible to watch his process. I'm so relieved. It was quite a challenging moment, I have to say. But as he was sitting on the wall saying that, I just said, Matthew, there are other aspects of life that lots of good people are thinking about you and meditating and sending you the highest aspect of life. And I believe the best is going to happen. And I still feel that. So, John, what, apart from the fact that you have a loving marriage and you're very happy, what do you think brought you back? If you want to share that. Kylie's very glad for you. And Verby says, yes, I talk about beauty of life too, and beauty of little things, because the little things are the things that are really meaningful. I know the treasures, the precious treasures of life. There was a time, Alice, our first daughter, she is like a magpie. It's like I had to clean her bedroom while she was away on some trip with the school. And I thought, right, I'm going to go into that place. And you know, every little thing in there had a memory. It wasn't like she was a hoarder. She just saved her memories. There was even, I remember when we were in San Francisco with the Floyd, staying in this one hotel, I got her this little wind-up yellow giraffe when she was just one. And it was in there amongst all the toys and other special things. Angela loves the color therapy. The amazing thing about the color therapy that I was trained is that you tune into the vibration. It's like alive. It has an energy to it. And so by doing that, the plant kingdom actually opens the door to the angelic realms and the fairies for a lot of people, the masters of wisdom, all the great knowledge of being human. But most of all, it is a doorway to that place that we often talk about in my art classes on these particular events. How to be a messenger of that space into everything that you do, from cooking to painting to music to dance to even washing your dishes. When I started realizing this, we had gotten a house, our house in Lindos, and there weren't, we didn't have a washer. We didn't need a dryer because of the sun. So I was into cloth nappies. Alice was quite little. So I had this big bucket and I stamp on them like the Italians do with their grapes. Poor Alice, they were stiff as anything. But I put a lot of love into my stamping amongst the bubbles. Yeah. And you know, I was when I came back after my mom was passing over, I had this voice that came to me, my guide, that said, you must write your story of love. And I thought, oh, don't know if I can do that right now. And you know, I'm really glad I did write the memoirs of the Bright Side of the Moon. It took me a few years to say yes, and then it flowed. There were a few chapters that took a bit to transform, to even look at and unearth it in the moment. I had my moment, John, of wanting to commit suicide. I sat on the bank of the Thames, watching the leaves going down. David had left, and it was like, what am I going to do? Didn't see any purpose. And then after a little while, the kids were home from school, laughing in the garden, and I got up and went into automatic pilot mum. And because of them, they probably don't realize how much they saved their mum that day. And things grew, and it helped me find who I was. My joy, my laughter, my purpose. And part of it is to be with you, to share our lives together. I'm going to check out what you're saying. John says that he learned that help is out there. There are so many lovely things in life that I was missing. The vast help and support from a great network of friends that I didn't know I had. Yeah, I know. Thank you for sharing, John. Because I feel your transformation, the freedom that you now express. It's your choice to be here, and you value it. It's fantastic. So John sends blessing to me and anyone who needs it. Thank you. Richard says that he's so proud to call me his friend. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I was thinking maybe we could look into some of the color that I was sharing on the other days. What comes to me, we should look at the green, because nature is, soon we're going to be surrounded by this color, and it's very therapeutic. So give me a second. I will go to my OBS and get it ready to show us. Hang on. Here it comes. Those are ginkgo leaves. I love ginkgo trees. We had one in one of our gardens. You know, when you're looking at green, spring green is a particularly healing color. It cleanses and purifies. And as you'll find, as you say you were experiencing disharmony and you were heading towards health, you would be detoxing whatever it was, whether it was an emotion getting in your way or actually some sort of food that you ate that was wrong, or thoughts that you needed to shift but had created a block in your body. Spring green's the one that will help you to cleanse. And when you go more on the vertical path in your spiritual growth, more and more you will use the spring green to ask and pray and say, please cleanse me of whatever I don't know I've stored away that's in my way to be more me. And I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things is on a sunny day to lie on the grass under a tree in its shade. Because within that green, there's a coolness, a refreshing, almost like if you had some iced tea or lemonade. That proves I'm American. And it just soothes your body. And it prepares you for that open space that we have inside, the invisible realms of who we are, that I've often talked about. That once you touch it, you bring it back. We're meant to be on the earth. It isn't an accident. And we are meant to bring heaven to earth. And I know it's pretty challenging sometimes, but you can, there are opportunities for you to brighten up your day. And don't let it take you down. And figure out, okay, why is this happening? Do I have to see something in myself I have to let go of? Do I have to actually eat better? Do I have to go for more walks? What do I have to let go of? What do I have to think differently? Ultimately, there's this incredible vision, a quest to be the best as a human being. And it's not a competition. It's, you inspire each other to find that place of peace, and it doesn't necessarily show up with great wealth or success in the public eye. It's actually that joy that you find. That's the success. That's what you gain. And every one of us can do that. So, after the green is within you, and you focused on it more and more, we went into the blue. Here it comes. We focused on this particular image of blue. So once you've cleansed with the green and feel refreshed, the blue in a way is a doorway. It's like the sky. You touch eternity with it. And sometimes you can be melancholy. I feel blue today. But actually, mankind's made it into I feel blue today. Because when you are able and you're open and clearer and ready to touch the infinite within you of all possibilities, you come up against what we were talking about, of what you've suppressed in your subconscious will have an opportunity to be let go of. It's within the blue that you will be still and feel strong and stable to be able to go past that. So the melancholy is actually a hint for you to go deeper, that you're being called to touch your soul. So during the color live, we would look at the color for a while, as you've been doing, and then close your eyes and take it inside and feel it that way. And what this is actually doing is teaching you to touch the vibration of life. Flowers are really good like that. It's true. And then when you know how it's normal, it's your reality to live in that vibration of consciousness, then if your soul says you're to be an artist, you know how to be in that place. Often when I start to paint, I'll have a flower in the room, just so that I remember the doorway and hold that stillness. And as I've said before, I never know what's going to happen. It isn't like I say, okay, I'm going to make this today. I just follow the crumbs, I suppose. And I'm trying to get back to you. And here I am. I will be there in a second. Thank you, Matthew, for helping me do this. So, if you have time, hopefully you'll continue to join me, because the next color is going to be really special. At the end of Tuesday's live, I had said, because everything's a vibration, a certain quality of energy and things that you become tuned and aware of. There's a color for peace, and there's a color of love. And I asked everyone to think about, what is that color? And I said, it's sparkly. I studied with Lily Cornford in mental color therapy, a form of healing based on energy. She used to say, when everyone realizes everything is a vibration of love and peace, things will change. Right now, people just have no idea about those things. And hopefully we're opening to realizing what it is and how much we can create a different world. It's in us to do that. That's an interesting thought, Juliet. Perhaps the blues, as in music, is called that as people are sharing and talking, which is good. Take a positive stance on that. They really love, I find the Southern American black communities singing the blues. They love life in all of its colors. That's why it touches us. It gives us it's okay. It gives us a transformation of life, because there's something deep in that music beyond the blues, so to speak, and it touches us in the hearts. Richard, yeah, peace and love has a sparkle. He goes, and he was listening. Well done. Well, Lily was a very wonderful woman, very much like the ideal grandmom. And she used to say, but I'm going to cough first. Excuse me. She used to say, oh, I don't like that word spiritual. I said, why? She says, because it's actually about being the totality of being human. And people, by saying it's spiritual, it sort of puts a divide, and people make judgments, and oh no, I don't believe that, and or this is the way I think it should be, and whatever. But if you just take it down to the wonder of being human, then the whole process is different. Thank you, Burpee. Yeah, coming to that sparkle, Billy said that there's, with the evolution of consciousness, that consciousness is, because we're upgrading, will have more of a sparkle. In fact, it's almost metallic, but not the metallic colors that block the traveling of light. But it's like a rainbow, but it shimmers. So I think it'll come that people will start bringing those colors in more. Very fine. And the way that you can capture it more is when you touch your highest level of being, colors get finer and finer anyway. And then it will come, you will touch that fineness, and it will permeate everything that you do. And you'll radiate the colors. It's fascinating. I had a session with Lily. She was our advisor. And there were 2 other healers there that she called the 3 of us in. And she went into her space and then came out and looked at me and said, Ginger, you have learned an enormous amount by being here with me, but your destiny is to create art and to share it with others. And the other girls, one was to remain being a healer in that way. My healing ability would come through my artwork and talking and sharing these ideas to inspire you through the art of living. And the other lady was to be an author. It was a time of great transformation. So guess what? It's time to say so long, in the words of Matthew Gilmour. So maybe I'll see you on Friday, maybe I'll see you on Tuesday, or next week, whatever is appropriate. But in the meantime, remember the color of your thoughts takes you to the greatness of who you are and what your heart longs for. So I have to say, ta-da. It's been wonderful as usual. And thank you for watching and being here together. And so long. Thank you. Good night.